Hello, everyone. This is Ernie Humphrey, the CEO of 360 Leadership Consulting. I hope everyone is enjoying our third generation FP&A tools demo days. I am thrilled to welcome Clockwork. Clockwork is going to be delivering a demo and a conversation about what makes their solution a great fit. So I would like to go ahead and introduce Fady Hawatmeh, the founder of Clockwise, and we are thrilled to have you with us, and we appreciate your support of our event. Fady, take it away.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ernie. So as Ernie said, I'm the founder and CEO of Clockwork. I founded Clockwork after running my outsourced CFO consulting firm and being the CFO of a VC-backed company. I started my career in finance at Boeing in FP&A and strategy, and then did a small stint in oil and gas consulting before starting my own outsourced CFO consulting firm that was formed literally out of demand from all the companies that were asking me for that help. Clockwork was born out of that consulting firm after I was living way too much in Excel, way too much in spreadsheets, and tried a bunch of the other tools. And they just, came up a little short. They were a little too cumbersome to use, and some of them were a little inaccurate, and I just couldn't use them. So introduce Clockwork. So I'm excited to share with you guys the functionality of Clockwork, how people are using it, and what it really means to be intelligent financial modeling and make it extremely simple. So one of the biggest kind of competitive advantages, I guess, we have, one of the very first things that I wanted to make sure that Clockwork had was immediate account creation, right? And it's not, hey, create your trial and then get in, and then you have to do a bunch of work when you're in the software. It is immediate account creation. So creating an account will take people literally 2-3 minutes. All you do is integrate with your QuickBooks Online or Xero account. And so, yes, you do have to have either a QuickBooks Online account or a Xero account to get in. And it's literally as simple as hitting this try for free button, entering your email, all your information here, and then the next screen is integrating with QuickBooks Online or Xero. We're certified app partners with both, and you can actually find us through the app stores as well. Getting into the account is extremely simple. You'll be able to log in. This will be the list that shows all the companies that you have access to. So we have CPA firms and outsourced CFOs that use Clockwork for their clients. This will list, just like when you log into QuickBooks Online or Xero, it'll list all the accounts that you have access to. And I work with several other companies that have multiple entities. So you'll be able to manage all your entities and forecast and build the projections for them. And you'll be able to have just one login for each one of your companies. You'll select which company you want to go into, and you automatically get launched into the dashboard. So the beauty of Clockwork, right, is every single thing that you see here is what you will see on a brand new account. Clockwork is building you a 5-year financial projection, a 5-year financial model, a 52-week weekly cash flow forecast, a 12-month balance sheet forecast. And out of the box, I think we have up to 18 metrics that are just templated right now that are calculated with your data. Upon integration, Clockwork's pulling in up to 3 years of financial transactions and actually building your account from absolute scratch. The projections that you see here in these dotted lines, those are Clockwork generated projections. It's looking at your industry, it's looking at your seasonality, it's looking at growth rates, it's looking at certain history that you've had for your company, and it's projecting out what we call a quote unquote good enough forecast. It's not going to be perfect because no one knows your business better than you do. No one knows your business better than your clients do. You get to come in, we give you the power to actually custom define and build all your driver-based forecasting. And we'll walk through that here in the financial model. One thing that people absolutely love about the dashboard is we actually score companies' financial health. So this is the Clockwork score. This will actually show you the 6 different variables that go into calculating our Clockwork score. and where they're being affected and how they're being affected. You can actually hover over each one of these, and it'll explain to you why it's negatively impacting your Clockwork score. The beauty about Clockwork is it updates every hour out of your accounting system. So it's in pretty much in real-time information. And you are actually getting every single thing about your account is updating every hour. So your Clockwork score, your chart of accounts, your invoices, your bills, all the different aspects of your business are being constantly updated. So Clockwork really is a living, breathing financial model, as it should be. When I was the CFO of that VC-backed company, I was living in Excel, constantly trying to update my forecasts, update actuals. I was spending north of 10 plus hours a month just updating stuff. Clockwork does that for you automatically. When you jump into the financial model is really going to be the workhorse of Clockwork. You will see a rolling 12 months of actuals back here at all times. Going forward, you will be able to see like all these calculated, these pre-calculated forecasts, these projections right out of the box. So this is the stuff that I was talking about, where Clockwork is actually calculating your good enough forecast based on historical trends, seasonality, certain things for your company specifically. Then you have the actual power to come in and define and build and customize every single aspect of your company. The beauty of Clockwork is there's no implementation. There's no activation. It's you set up your account. It'll literally take you 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe. And all of your accounts will show up here. These will not be the accounts that you have. These accounts that show up are part of our demo account. Your accounts will be your chart of accounts automatically. You will have the ability to edit and organize any of these accounts as well. So if you want to drag and drop, you want to create groups, you can easily do that with this Organize Accounts button, and it'll actually open up every single thing that you want right here. You can add new accounts. So if you want to go into a new market, you want to increase prices, you want to offer a new service line, and you don't want to mess with anything in your existing chart of accounts, just hit Add Account, and you'll be able to name this whatever you want, add row, hit save, and it'll actually rebuild your model with that account listed in Clockwork. It's not going to mess anything up in QuickBooks Online. It's not going to mess anything up in Xero. So you can really play around with Clockwork like a sandbox. Then you'll have the ability to come in here in the financial model and build your assumptions. This is probably by far the most popular functionality of Clockwork, and I wager that it's the most powerful. There's all these different ways that you can build your forecasts. You can do percent growth rates, so quarter over quarter, year over year, month over month, and you can even literally do it on a month by month basis. So if you have any seasonality in your business, you can factor that in. You can also do percentage of accounts, so tying accounts to each other. So for commissions, for hosting, for cost of goods sold, whatever it may be, you can actually tie your accounts to each other. And again, these are automatically brought in from your chart of accounts. It's not going to be anything that you see or you have to map or you have to implement, or anything. It's all right there for you out of the box. Then you have price times quantity rules. That's self-explanatory. Price times quantity. Manually edited. That's if you just want to put something in there like $10,000 a month. You know, this account, it's a contract that we're signing. They're going to pay us $10,000 a month. You can literally put $10,000. And when you hover over the two cells, and you'll have this functionality for every single forecasting rule, you'll be able to select that, and it'll actually pop up, and you can say for the next 52 months, for the next 2 months, 3 months, 12 months, whatever, you get to define that. You can actually do same value every month. You can add a percentage or decrease. You can actually add a negative percentage and a dollar change as well. So you can actually add that directly into the assumption. You hit apply, it'll automatically build everything for you. When you come over here in the custom formula, this is by far the most powerful piece of the assumption builder. you actually get to custom define, just like you would in Excel or Google Sheets, you get to custom define your own variables with your own formulas. The first thing you'll do is you'll select the variable type. So if you want to build like a sales pipeline, a full-blown sales forecast starting with number of leads, you can say number, that's going to be the type of variable, and then you'll just call this leads. You'll come over here, you'll say 500 leads going out for the next 59 months. We're going to add 20 leads a month. You hit apply, and now you have it going out 59 months, adding 20 leads a month every month. Then you add another variable, and you can say, okay, our ACV, so it's going to be $1. Our ACV, our annual contract value, is going to be $5,000. Do the same thing. You can actually do a subset. Say you want to raise prices in 12 months. You can actually come out here and say, okay, for the next 12 months, it is going to be the same value. Then you come over here, and after the 12 months, you'll say, we're going to actually increase it by 5% for the next 47 months. It'll actually build it all the way out, and you get to define how you want those variables to interact. So it's going to be leads times your ACV, and you can add another variable aspect to it. So you can put your close rate. You can say, okay, this is going to be a percentage now, and our close rate will be based on, multiplication again, and our close rate will be 5%. So you'll do 5%, same value every month, apply. You can name this formula. You could say this is for product A, for product B, for service line, consulting services, whatever it is. You can build as many of these variables as well as many of these rules as you want. And as you can see, it's all literally at the click of a button. Extremely simple. Another very, very powerful aspect of the assumption builder is the fact that you can define how this goes into your cash flow forecast. So Clockwork is one of the only tools that actually does a weekly cash flow forecast. You can actually define how your forecast that you build in your financial model affect that cash flow forecast. So you come over here and you can say, when is the cash collection going to happen? Do you invoice all of your bills? Is it immediate? If you do invoice it, you can select invoiced, and you can actually bucket it custom defined here. It's not templated. It doesn't say select net 30, net 45. It does not matter. You get to actually build these buckets however you want. So if half of it is paid in 30 days, the other half is paid in 60, half is paid up front, the other half is paid on delivery, you get to custom define that, and that goes into your weekly cash flow forecast. Say you want to come over to the daily activity. Because we're doing the weekly cash flow forecast, you actually get to define on what day do you want that to be recognized for your cash flow. Do you want it to be on the 1st of the month, on the 15th, on the 12th? You define that all right here. And you can, again, just like with the invoicing, you can put it in multiple buckets for you. Default is going to be evenly distributed. And then the other powerful thing is you can actually define your revenue recognition. So if you want to spread it over 12 months, over 24 months, 36 months for long-term contracts, you can actually do that. And then you'll be able to affect and put your deferred revenue into whatever balance sheet account that you have. And these are, again, your accounts, automatic. You don't have to do any mapping. You don't have to select which accounts deferred revenue. It will automatically pull them up here. So you have a lot of power to really define and custom build your projections and exactly how they tie into cash flow. So when we say Clockwork's an intelligent platform and it's integrated, we don't just mean that it's integrated with your accounting system. We mean it's integrated with itself. So the dashboard talks to the financial model talks to the cash flow talks to the balance sheet. Any change that's happened in a Clockwork that happens in a Clockwork account goes throughout the entire account. So we'll save this rule. Now you'll have this built out. You want to add another one for another variable, for another ACV, for another service line, whatever it may be, you can simply do that. Add rule, and it'll just build on top of each other. When you save that assumption, Clockwork will again recalculate your entire model, and it'll put the math in there and say, okay, this is annual subscriptions. This is what it's going to be. you will see this, that the shade is colored in this green color to show that that's a user-defined assumption. If you want to build it out and say, okay, that actually doesn't make sense, we don't want to do that, just come over here. You can delete it. Yes, delete. And Clockwork will revert it back to the intelligent forecast that it had, that good enough forecast. So very easy to play with, very easy to build out these what if questions, because my clients were always blowing me up with what if we hired this person? What if we fired this person? What if we went into a new market? What if we raised our prices? Now you can literally build those out in a couple of minutes rather than a couple of hours or a couple of days. Adding new accounts, again, we added this test account. You can delete it. You can easily come over here. You can drag and drop. You can reorder them. You can do whatever you want on the cost of goods sold side, on the operating expenses side. You can build and custom define all the stuff that you want in the accounts. Editing layout, that's another super powerful piece. People love to see the variance. So you can actually see forecast versus actual variance. And you can define if you want to see it in a dollar or a percentage. You can define if you don't want to see monthly, you only want to see quarterly and annually, turn that on, hit apply, and now you have a variance view quarterly and annually with a roll-up. Edit the layout. You want to go back to default to build your assumptions. You can just go back, hit reset to default, and it'll give you this view again. That's the financial model. There's a lot more stuff that we can do, but I'll kind of keep it at that as the most powerful and kind of popular piece of the financial model. Going into the cash flow, again, the financial model is tied directly into your cash flow. That account that we created now will show up in your cash flow forecast. You will see every single thing that you do in the financial model reflected over here in the cash flow forecast. Clockwork will be building, you have the view of weekly or monthly. Toggling between weekly and monthly is extremely simple. You go into settings, you go to model settings, and you can just toggle this cash flow section over to weekly. If you don't want to do a full 52 weeks, you can limit it to 39, 26, 13, whatever you want that defines what the visibility that you need for your business. You come back out here. Now your cash flow is on a weekly basis. You'll be able to scroll all the way down. You'll see every one of your accounts. All of these accounts are coming from your financial model. You'll see exactly how they're being affected for the forecast in cash. You can collapse all of these as well if you want to see a truncated view of your cash flow forecast. And you'll be able to see what's your cash out date. This is all going to be calculated again and updated every single hour. So you can see your net cash on a weekly basis, your ending cash on a weekly basis, and you can scroll all the way out for a full year and see, okay, we're going to run out of cash on this week. What happens if we have a capital injection then? What happens if we take a loan? What happens if we take an investment? You can actually define those extremely simply directly in your cash flow. So you can come over here. It's going to be an asset. You select out here, and you can actually build your own assumptions in your cash flow forecast. You can say this is going to be a Series A, Series B, C, bridge loan, whatever it is. You put in the amount, put in the account that it's actually going to hit. You'll say it's going to be cash in, cash out. Is it going to be one time, or is it going to be repeating, like for a credit card bill or anything like that? And Clockwork will factor it into your balance sheet or to your cash flow forecast. So a lot of power, a lot of customization that you have on the cash flow side, as well as the financial model, the financial projections. Another super popular feature is the fact that Clockwork is pulling in that transactional level data. So it's pulling in invoices and bills. Every individual outstanding and upcoming invoice and bill is being captured by Clockwork. Whenever you want to edit them, it's extremely simple because Clockwork's showing you the detail of them. You actually get to come in here and you can edit them. You can edit the amount due if someone's doing a partial payment, and you can edit the expected payment date. When you call a vendor and say, hey, we're not going to pay you until this day, you'll be able to come in here, update it, save it, and you'll see it automatically reflected in your cash flow forecast. Because the name of the game with cash is how quickly can you get paid and how late can you pay someone out. So with Clockwork, you can do that literally at the click of a button. balance sheet forecast is balance sheet forecast. It's standard balance sheet forecast, right? It goes out 12 months. It'll show you exactly what your balance sheet forecast is. Assets, liabilities, equity, the whole nine. You go into your metrics. And like I said, Clockwork is building you a standard 18 metrics out of the gate. Cash buffer, cash runway, burn, COGS, gross margin, gross revenue, all the different stuff that every company should be looking at. But you get to custom build and custom define your own KPIs, your own metrics, because every company looks at things differently. They factor in different accounts. That was one thing that I could never find is a software that allowed you to build your own metrics with your own accounts. They would always have them templated. With Clockwork, you can build these custom metrics with the ease of a very simple formula builder. So you come over here, you'll name the account, you'll name the metric that you want. You'll actually get to define the unit that you want that metric to be calculated in. Is it going to be a number? Is it going to be a dollar? Is it a percentage? Whatever it may be, you get to define that. And you actually get to import non-financial data to build off of your custom drivers. So if you want to see your LTV or you want to see your CAC and you want to import number of users, you can have one of your custom drivers, and these are all custom built, right? None of this exists. None of it's templated. Custom built. You'll be able to define that and be able to import through a CSV import and how it calculates into your formula, into your metric. All of your P&L accounts will be here. And again, these are all your accounts, not templated. Your chart of accounts right out of the box. No mapping you have to do. Balance sheet, cash flow as well. So you get to build your own formula all right here. Extremely simply, extremely easily. You want to drag and drop. You want to show, different order. You don't want to see your CAC for entrepreneurs. Hide that. You don't want to see your churn rate. Hide that. You can define and custom build not only your metrics, but also your metrics dashboard. You have this drop down. So if you don't want to do that, you can literally just uncheck the boxes that you don't really care to see, and you'll see it reflected here. You're done editing. You think it looks good. You hit done editing. Now you have your own custom defined, custom built metrics dashboard. We have these hot button items, hot buttons right here. This fiscal year, last fiscal year, you can actually define your fiscal year. So if you are not on a calendar fiscal year, you can change that in the settings, and Clockwork will know that that's your fiscal year. Then the last piece that will hit directly into this demo is the scenario writer. This is obviously one of the most powerful pieces of Clockwork. Again, all of these, you have the ability to build unlimited scenarios, unlimited models. Clockwork will actually walk you through building your financial model in the scenario. So the first thing you'll do is you'll write the scenario, you'll write the name of your scenario. So Series A, win the lottery, go gangbusters in the company and hire 25 people, whatever it may be. You start writing your scenario after you name it, and it'll actually walk you through your revenue, your COGS, and your OPEX of building your model. Clockwork will start your scenario based on what we have existing in the financial model. So you don't have to start over and start from scratch to build all your assumptions. This will be built off of what you have in your baseline model. You'll select which accounts you want to actually build out. You'll hit confirm. They'll show up here. If there are existing assumptions, this card will say edit assumptions. But for this, it'll say add assumptions. You'll have the exact same powerful custom assumption builder in the scenarios as well. You'll be able to build those all out. If you only want to do a scenario for revenue, you can do that. If you only want to do it for OPEX or COGS, you can do that. You'll be able to walk through, go from next step to next step. Then you'll actually go to a summary view. So the summary view will actually calculate what the average difference between your forecast and your scenario is. Then it'll show you on the cash flow as well what the difference, what the variance will be between those two. Then when you hit view scenario, this is my favorite part of the scenario writer, is it'll actually build you that model with your scenario and your forecast on the same screen. And so because we didn't change a whole bunch, the variance will just be kind of throughout random accounts. Editing layout, same functionality that we have on the financial model. You can do it monthly, quarterly, annually, show different variance, percentage, show percentage of income, whatever it may be. So that's the scenario writer. You can build, again, as many of these as you want. You can edit them directly from here. You can delete them directly from here. A lot of people use this for like budgeting. So if they set their budget at the beginning of the year, scenario writer will take a snapshot of that. The financial model is constantly updating. This baseline model is constantly updating. Scenario writer will be the snapshot. Hey, this is where we were at this period of time. Then last thing we'll walk through is the settings. Inviting people is extremely simple. You can invite new users. You can give them different permission levels: admin, editor, view only. So the only difference between admin and editor is the ability to manually sync. So if you don't want to wait an hour for Clockwork's automatic sync to happen, you can actually push a manual sync. And inviting users. So admins can invite users, editors cannot. Then you have obviously view only. So some companies, some leadership, board members, investors, whatever it may be, they can be view only. Model settings, we were already here when we changed from weekly to monthly. You can actually change the time frame for your financial model as well. Your projections, if you don't want to go 5 years, you can limit it to 3 years, 4 years. This is where you change your fiscal year that I mentioned earlier. Clockwork, because it's an intelligent platform, you can actually define when your month-end close will be. So if you take 10 days, 7 days, 14 days to close the month prior, Clockwork won't start factoring in those actuals for anything moving forward until you define it right here. And connected data, again, this is where it's automatically syncing every hour. You want to manually sync, you hit manual sync now. This is where you'll update all your custom drivers for all that non-financial data. So that's super high level run through of Clockwork. This, as you see, Fady created the new scenario test. The activity log will actually capture exactly who did what they did, and when they did it. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to collaborate on a model. Some numbers change. No one knows what changed. No one knows who did it. Then you got to hunt and peck. So with Clockwork, we try and nip that in the bud right off the bat. And that is Clockwork. So
I have to add in, I'm just going to have to give you the wow, because it's amazing to me the ease of use that it seems to be. But it's really interesting to me that you can see that you've been there, done that, and you've used what your frustrations were to make life so much easier for everyone. So if you don't mind, let me go ahead and jump into some questions, just so it's fresh with what we just saw. And then maybe you can give us some insights, maybe some case studies and things like that for people to bounce off a little bit. The first thing that kind of comes up is, you mentioned, right, the implementation time, and it's almost like instant. So can you dive in on that a little bit? How long does it usually take people who seem to, get really up and running on the platform?
Yeah, it really is that simple. I think one of the biggest things, and it never ceases to amaze me when people are like, yeah, but it takes a minute, but how long does it actually take to get up and run? Like, it will literally take you 2 to 3 minutes. Because Clockwork's doing a lot of the number crunching for you automatically in the back end, people get quote unquote up and running within a few minutes. And the activation process, the implementation process is really just, hey, set up an hour with my team, set up an hour with me, and we'll walk you through your accounts, your numbers, your data. There's not a person that has signed up for Clockwork that has not seen what they get right out of the box. And they're up and running literally in no time.
Okay, we have several questions, and this one really piqued me as well. Can you give us just a little more background? We mentioned the Clockwork score. Can you give us a little bit insight on what goes into that, and does that change potentially when you change your assumptions, or does that move? How does that work?
Yeah, it's really going off of your performance.
Okay.
So if you're forecasting and you're forecasting accurately, your Clockwork score will be better. And it's accurately in the plus and accurately in the negative. So if you are sandbagging your numbers and you're outside a certain tolerance of, hey, we absolutely blew our numbers out of the water, that will negatively impact your Clockwork score, because the point of forecasting is to be as accurate as possible. And it starts kind of with a 20% delta, certain differences like that, where if you are forecasting accurately, Clockwork is pulling in those actuals, and Clockwork's learning your performance. And then it's also looking at how things are trending. So if your cash is trending down and there's no real path to increasing your cash balance, your ending forecast, if you're going to be running out of cash and there's no clear assumption, no clear detail built into the forecast to say, hey, this is what we're going to be remedying, Clockwork's also taking that into effect. If you do have things that are very positive, Clockwork will show you it, right? You can have a Clockwork A+ score, and Clockwork score is updating every hour across the account, just like the account updates from A to Z every hour. So does your Clockwork score, and we're factoring that in.
Okay. I have a few folks who are probably in the CPA firm business.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have a different account for each client, or does it live in the same instance, or how do they toggle between those different accounts?
Yeah, we actually work with some of the largest accounting firms in the world. With them is one of our largest, the 12th largest CPA firm in the world. We also work with super small CPA firms that are adding advisory services for their offerings. Very simple. Every account is on a per client basis.
Okay.
So security is literally on a per client basis as well. And toggling between the two is super simple. You'll literally come over here under your settings, under the toggle. You'll go to change company. It'll bring you back to this screen where it'll list every single one of your clients. And when you want to add a new client, it's even easier than creating your initial. You just hit add new company, type in the client name, and then integrate with their QBO or Xero account, and then they're up and running.
Okay. Wow. Just along the same lines, this is just me interjecting a little bit. It seems to me that this helps them expand their advisory services, because this is like an FP&A pro right here, right? Yeah. So I know all the time people spend, I've done surveys, how much time they just spend on looking at the data, analyzing the data, doing the assumptions. So it looks like they almost become not an expert, but a pretty talented FP&A person with all the functionality you've built in there. Have you seen that being leveraged by your customers?
Yeah, 100%. We actually work with our customers to work on the pricing and packaging of the advisory services.
Yeah.
Right. We have people that are charging well north of, a couple $1,000s a month just for the use of Clockwork. And the beauty is clients don't even know, they don't necessarily realize how easy it is to get an account. I've had multiple partners of ours that create accounts for their clients, and their client comes to them and, oh my gosh, you spent 10 hours building this. You had to have, and they don't know that it took you a few minutes, right? Just the ease of use and the visibility that clients get out of the box blows their socks away.
Yeah. So just kind of my observations of things that when I've talked to a lot of FP&A leaders, the struggles that they have, and I've seen and talked to, is some of the things that you guys are doing. Just get your comments afterwards. But just the fact that you can customize your drivers, you can validate what those drivers are, right? Almost in real time. You can do that cash flow forecast based on transaction data. So as a treasury person, you're really getting a good view at the cash conversion cycle and what that looks like, and adding predictability, into a lot of things. And then some of the complications of just the revenue recognition assumptions, right? And getting that. And then the unlimited scenarios are just things that really stick out. Any of those areas that you're seeing the most, people gravitating towards and giving you the most feedback for it all?
The cash flow forecast is by far, when I initially launched Clockwork, it was the dashboard, the financial model, and the cash flow forecast. I built all three of those right out of the box. And cash flow continues to be, especially in this day and age, right? We have so much economic uncertainty. So many companies are changing. So many companies are pivoting. Being able to have that real-time pulse on your cash flow and being able to plan these movements and how they affect your cash, right? For me, it was kind of mind-blowing how many solutions out there didn't tie your financial projections with your cash flow. Cash flow is not just your ARAP. Cash flow is everything about the business that's happening, everything that you see happening, all
Right.
these future contracts, and factoring all that in is very key. So people absolutely love the fact that you can do your deferred revenue, you can do your custom timing, your custom cash timing for cash flow. That predominantly for SaaS companies, they absolutely love it. Professional services companies, consulting firms, digital marketing agencies, they absolutely love it. And one thing I didn't mention is Clockwork actually learns based on customer and vendor payment behavior. So if you have someone that's on net 30 terms, but they're always paying you net 45, what good is a cash flow forecast if it doesn't start actively anticipating that happening? So Clockwork will actually start learning and looking at the transactional data and defining and custom building your cash flow forecast based on historical.
Wow. Okay. Why don't you go ahead and share with us? I know we had a great conversation before we had the demo about you wanted to spend a little time giving us some case studies, success studies, and then go ahead and do that. And then I'll wrap up. I've got a couple questions like operationally, right amount, support and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and let you dive in on that a little while before we wrap things up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Happy to do that. So I'll give kind of two use cases. I'll do one use case for the accounting channel and then one use case for an e-commerce company, actually. So an e-commerce company contacted us. They signed up for Clockwork. They were pretty much on the last ropes. I had a very candid conversation with the CEO and founder of the company. He was like, I don't know if I should file for bankruptcy or not. And it was that bad of a situation for the company. And they had a lot of personnel situations happening. And I literally looked at his Clockwork account, and what's funny is he wasn't even on QuickBooks Online when we first started, right? He literally switched from using QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online just so he can use Clockwork.
Wow.
And he got up and running. It took him a couple weeks for the bookkeeper to make that switch. He got up and running on Clockwork, literally that day. And within 3 months, we turned his business around completely. And literally, I think last week, 2 weeks ago, he was able to close a couple $1 million investment because of what we built with Clockwork. We helped him build his assumptions, his plans, his forecast. We helped him shed light just by looking at the financial model, right? Clockwork's pulling all your expenses. We were able to define things all the way down to the transactional level and say, let's cut this, let's figure out how we can increase revenue, what certain things are profitable. And we really leaned in with him and helped him turn around his business as a whole. I mean, that was one of the more proud moments that I've ever had in Clockwork's history is literally changing this guy's life and changing his team members' lives, right? He's married, he has 3 kids, going through contemplating bankruptcy. I mean, that's if we can help companies with that, for me, those are always the more proud moments that I have. With accounting firms, so with Witham, our largest partner, they approached us. We had great conversations from the get-go of them wanting to leverage technology in their firm, right? Witham is a very innovative, forward-thinking firm, and they genuinely love to use technology. And that was really great to see that a massive firm, 12th largest CPA firm in the world, wants to use technology because they know that that's the future. And so we actually worked hand in hand with their advisory team, their partner in charge, who's phenomenal to work with, on pricing and packaging around their advisory services for Clockwork. And we've been able to have them generate more revenue using Clockwork. They've been able to bring on more clients because their advisors can take on more clients. So without Clockwork, their advisors were averaging, 6 to 8 clients each because of how much time they were spending on this. Now they're upwards of 10 clients each. So no additional headcount, but you're adding more money to the top line and the bottom line. And it's been great to work with firms that are super innovative to leverage their advisory services.
Wow, to me, what kind of really came out there was just your commitment to customer success. And people always talk about customer success, but you're helping people build their business and build their revenue. So it's pretty incredible that the solution, right? You're seeing it, you're helping them realize the value. And in the one gentleman, you actually changed his life. So,
yeah.
So nothing else left to say about that. So let's go ahead and wrap up with just a few questions that we have. First, the question is around, do you guys have some sort of a startup program or trial period or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so free 14-day trial, and so companies can obviously try out Clockwork and really see how easy it is to get up and running. And we offer free 14 days, so you can literally use the full tiered program, the Clockwork Pro tier, for 14 days. We also do have a startup and inclusion program. So I'm an Arab founder. I'm an immigrant founder as well, born in Jordan. And I love to give back to underrepresented founders, underrepresented companies, and small companies. So if you're a company, if you're a startup, and you're making less than $1 million in revenue, we offer at the minimum a 50% discount to get on board. And if you're a minority founded and run company, we also offer a similar discount for those companies. So we try and help as many companies as possible. And I never want price to be a blocker for someone to use Clockwork that needs it.
Okay, great. Can you give us, last question, then we'll wrap things up, a few closing comments. Do you, is there some kind of standard support? Is there different levels of support that you can give to clients? Give us a little background on that, please.
Yeah. So, I still love taking client calls and customer calls. Obviously we have a team that can do that as well. For us, it's very hands-on. We help people not only and I have this on our website, where we're not just software. We don't just sell you software and then you disappear from us. The person that sold you the software, on the sales team, even the marketing side, you will know who they are all throughout. You'll have their cell phone. You'll have my cell phone. We are very, very involved with the companies that we work with, and the companies that are on Clockwork. We have a standard Clockwork University with a bunch of videos and tutorials and all this kind of stuff. But literally, anyone on the team is more than happy to jump on a call, including myself, for a half hour just to show you something really quickly. And then, oh, got it. Let me go and take this and replicate it. But the ease of use is always there. We always want to make sure that that's tied with literally world-class customer success.
All right. Thank you so much. For our audience, you'll see on our screen, there's a link there. You can get a free trial in minutes. They have a email address there as well. Website is amazing. A lot of great resources. Also, during the session, we had a poll to ask if you'd like to be connected and learn more. So please go ahead and answer that. If we didn't get to your questions, we'll do our best to follow up with you after the event and take care of those questions. And so in closing, I would just like to thank you very much for your time. Your solution is extremely exciting, and it's a pleasure for us to share Clockwork with folks across the world. Thank you so much. Appreciate your support.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
All right, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this session. I know I have. We look forward to your feedback and hope you enjoy the rest of our conference. Thank you so much.